Good evening. Hello, everybody. Welcome tonight to we're going to be talking about coins, the propaganda in your pocket. You may not realize that every time you go out and use coins, which is less and less now, but coins, dollar bills, any sort of money, you're carrying around a lot of propaganda and imagery in your pocket. And every time you use it, you are, advertising for that particular country, or at least you're soaking in the propaganda from that country. So we're going to begin tonight just with a little bit of discussion about coins as they are. It's more than just money in exchange for goods. Coins are, they're unique. They're a unique testament to our history, our culture, and the ideals of pretty much any civilization. Fortunately for you and for me, many ancient coins have survived down into our current time period. And also now we have access to many, many modern coins all around the world. So we can make comparisons and we can learn from the imagery within them. And you'll find that it doesn't matter if the coin comes from ancient China or modern United States. It works the same way. You can read it using the same formula. So, each coin itself, it's an instrument of propaganda for each ruler, for each country, each religion. And if whoever authorized it or motivized its minting, they're trying to put forth a certain image, a certain, a certain idea. So it will come to no surprise to you, knowing me at all, that it all starts with Augustus. It all comes down to Augustus. And while there are many coins minted throughout the whole ancient world, including the well-known drachma of ancient Greece, it's really Augustus that started refining this down into an art, a propagandic art, which he used to put forth his own message of now we are transitioning from republic to an empire. Now we have a single ruler, and coins were a big part of how he made that happen. It's an imagery package, and every country and every civilization has it. So let's go through it. Okay, so I already discussed Augustus. So Augustus, he used it, but it was really Julius Caesar was the first one to put himself on coins, to use coins to promote himself, his own brand, his own image. After him came Brutus, who used coins to justify the assassination of Julius Caesar. And then Mark Antony also took this up, and he had coins of himself with Cleopatra. And then it just became, that was how it was done in the Western world. So let's first go through and how do we interpret a coin? I hope everybody brought some coins. I brought a bunch from different countries and different time periods and stuff. We're not going to go through each coin because we don't have to. I'm going to show you. Now, I promised you that this time I was going to be able to put a little picture-in-picture, but Julian tells me that's only available on iOS right now and on Android. I apologize. We're working on it. You got to give me some time. So first thing, I'm going to post this on my Instagram, is that we are going to analyze the coin, and we're going to use it using this diagram, which I made for my class when I taught it. So I can show it as much as I want because it's mine. But essentially it shows you that there's all different kinds of parts and in sections to each coin, and each thing has an image. So, Nina, just any coin, like a nickel, a dime, a quarter, literally any coin. It doesn't matter, and also just, coins, so it's fine. Anyway, so one of the first things we're going to be looking at is we're going to be doing like some formal analysis, but so let's look at our coin carefully. The coin that I have here is an Augustine coin. Let me see if I have. Sorry, I don't have the picture yet. It's a picture of Augustus on one side. On the other side, it's a crocodile that says Egypto Capita. This is a coin that Augustus put out after he successfully defeated Antony and Cleopatra and conquered Egypt. So you start looking at the coins and you start to ask yourself some basic questions as you're looking at your coin. And it can be any coin. It doesn't have to be an ancient Augustine coin. Like I have a dollar coin, and I have a cool coin from Egypt, and I have a quarter. So like, let's just, with my quarter. Okay. So like with the first thing you've got to look at is you got to understand that the coins, yes, you can call it heads and you can call it tails, but the proper term is obverse, which is heads, and reverse, which is tails. So first look at the obverse. which is the heads. Is there a head on it? Is there some sort of other image on it? Who is it? What does it depict? Is it one person? Is it two people? Is it a portrait? Of whom? Is it a male? Is it a female? Is there somebody in the background? Is it just all of these things matter? Also, how much space does this image take up? For example, on the obverse, the head side of the quarter, the head of George Washington takes up almost the entire front of the coin. That's significant. That's telling us that this is a very, very important image. So then also, how big is it in proportion to the other images? Are there other images on the coin? Are there words in the front of the coin? So now, let's look more closely at the portraiture. So one of the things that one of my Professor Tarrant, really likes to look at is how Queen Elizabeth's image has changed over time. So, for him, I'm going to show, this is the new pound coin. This is the 2020 pound coin. And this is the obverse. This is the head. And it shows Queen Elizabeth II, how she is now. And you can see it's written around the side, Elizabeth II, and it says, it says, ruler. But it also, if you see, it says the regnet, but it also says F, DF down there. That means Defender of the Faith, and that was a title that was given to the Pope to Henry VIII before he broke with the Church, but they still keep it, which I think is great. But look at it. So look at this image. Is there a hairstyle? Are they wearing something? Is there something in their hair? Is it a crown? Is it a laurel wreath? Is it a ram's horn? Is it simple images? Is the face rendered idealistically, or is it realistic? So, for example, behind me, I have the image from the Vatican of Julius Caesar. This is, while it's supposed to be a realistic image, it's idealized as well. Elizabeth II, she's really big on portraying herself realistically. This is a realistic image of what she looks like today. And if you look at her imagery over time, over the coins from the 1950s on, she does age in her coins. They even feature it in the first episode of The Crown. Anyways, I'm not advertising Netflix unless they're gonna give me money. Anyways, so then there's another thing you have to look at as well. Is if you look at ancient old American coins, they had liberty on it. But it wasn't just the Statue of Liberty. Sometimes it was flowing hair liberty. Sometimes it was covered head liberty. It was liberty in all of these different themes and movements, because it was the personification of the idea of liberty in a female form, and then eventually it became more codified. So now you have to look at also is there an inscription? What does it say? We went over that as well. Each thing will have a different thing. So then also, now you got to do, what's the obvious thing we're going to do? You got to flip the coin. What's on the other side of the coin? Now, this is a significant image. What's on the other side of the coin, of the 1 pound coin? We see 4, pieces of the flora, vegetation, all surrounded by a coronet, a crown. So we see the rose of England with the Tudor rose, which in color would be white with red around it. Then you see the leek of Wales. Then you see the thistle of Scotland. And then you see the clover of Ireland, which brings together Great Britain all in one image. But they're summing it all up. An image says 1,000 words. Here they go. It's all here, all together, all united under one crown. This is the 1 pound coin all together. The leek, the rose, the thistle, and the clover all together in one. It sums up this whole image, ruled over by Elizabeth. You get it all in one coin. You come into England, you buy something, you get your change, you're like, oh, here's the Queen. Oh, and these are all the things that are in it. Okay, I get it. That's what's going on. And if you look at, the American quarter, there's actually there were some rules in Congress that the back that on the coin, you always had to have an image of an eagle. You always had to have a certain amount of stars. You always had to have, first it was E pluribus unum, and now it's in God we trust. But, it's if you look at the front side of the coin, it says the United States of America. That's required. It says exactly how much money it is. It's $0.25. It says what year it was, and it says our motto. It used to say E pluribus unum, which is out of many one, and now it says in God we trust. And then if you look on the back, before it was just an eagle. But lately, we've been going through this thing, which I think is kind of cool, where all the reverses of the quarters are images from all the 50 states. So all the 50 states get to show off their imagery. They get to represent themselves on the quarter, which is also a powerful statement too, which is e pluribus unum, out of many one, about how all the different states all contribute. So you can look at each quarter and it will give you a different image from each state as well. But not every coin has that. So, for example, this is a 50-cent euro coin. And on one side, it has the image of the European Union. You can see, I guess, most of you have seen euro coins, but it's the map of the European Union. And it says the amount of money on it. And you don't really need more imagery than that. We're all united in Europe. This is our money. And on the back side of the coin, they do what the quarters have been doing, with all the 50 states contributing to the reverse. They're all contributing different imagery to the back. This one's from Spain. So you see some Spanish imagery on the back of the coin, which is wonderful because it brings it all together, but it also brings what is the image they're telling you? What is the message they're telling you? Europe is united. Europe is filled with all of these different countries that are all working together, and we have a monetary unit that we are all behind, and each one of these little coins will have imagery. I also have another 50-cent coin that has the beautiful center of the Capitoline, piazza where the Capitoline Museum is, and there's imagery from France and from all over, and now with Brexit, Julian has asked me several times, will they change the coin? Will they remove that from the obverse, Great Britain from the obverse, now that it's not part of the European Union? I'm very curious to see. So that brings us next to the next thing we have to do when we're analyzing coins is we have to look at about the visual relationship between the inscription and the image, and then also to look at the connections between it all together. And so what does it have, like a metaphoric significance? Does it have a historic significance? Is it trying to convince you of something? Is it a propagandic message? So one of the coins I'm going to show you is an ancient coin. This is the coin of Julius Caesar, and if you can see, the inscription says Caesar dict, and then over on the other side says Perpetuo. So, and then he's wearing the laurel wreath around his head. He's not wearing a crown. He's not trying to be a king at this time, but he is being dictator perpetuo, which is perpetual dictator or dictator for life. This is part of the thing that got him in trouble, which brought about one of the next coins we will be talking about is, oh, Julian, you forgot to download it. It's a coin that Brutus put out, and it's this little coin, and it shows this little tiny little round cap, and it's got these two daggers on either side, and it's the coin that Brutus put out after the assassination of Julius Caesar, saying, hey, I freed everybody, it's a new government, I'm in charge now, me and mama guys, we got rid of the dictator, Sic Semper Tyrannis, and now I'm in charge. Well, that didn't last too long because Mark Antony and Augustus came. And then after Brutus was defeated and Antony was defeated, Augustus is now trying to legitimize himself. He wants to be in charge. He wants to be the sole leader. How do you legitimize yourself? How do you get the power of Julius Caesar? He has the name, but how do you take the power? Well, one of the ways is through coinage. So you see Augustus on the obverse, you see his head, and it says Caesar Augustus because Caesar adopted him in his will. He is Julius Caesar's son. He may use the name Caesar. So he's Caesar Augustus. He's got a little laurel wreath around his head because he earned it, because he helped defeat the assassins of Julius Caesar at the Battle of Philippi. But then, what's on the reverse of the coin, the other side of the coin? It says Divus Julius, and then there's this star shape. Well, there was this comet that passed over Rome shortly after the Battle of Philippi, shortly after the defeat, and Augustus claimed that this represented that Julius Caesar was now divine, and he was a god. And now Augustus gets to claim himself as son of a god, Divi Filius. He's helping take on the power of Julius Caesar by naming Julius Caesar a god, and Julius Caesar has already named him his son, he has now become son of a god, and he gets to take on all the power and all the reputation and everything of Julius Caesar. And it's a wonderful little bit of advertisement that everybody is just carrying around in their pocket. He's trying to convince everybody that this is a new way. It's a great way to do it. Every time you buy a sandwich, you get this as your change. You look at it absentmindedly, whatever, the message gets in your head. It's coins are wonderful little bits of propagandic, political advertisement. They're so much fun. So another one we come to is a very famous one. It's the Egypto coin, which is, I captured Egypt. I defeated Mark Antony. I defeated Cleopatra. I have now captured Egypt. Check me out. I'm going to show you on this coin. And that's the same coin from my diagram where I described coins. And on one side, you see Augustus. And it says, Caesar. And it says COSIV, which means consul for the fourth time. He's been named consul of the Roman Republic for the fourth time. And the other side, you see the crocodile, and it says Egypto Capta, which means captured Egypt. And he's like, check me out. I did it. It was a very big deal. He made a big thing of capturing Egypt. He wanted to convince the people that he wasn't having a civil war against Mark Antony. It was a foreign war against a foreign enemy. And this partly sealed that deal. But it also brought forth onto him military, might and power and all of these sort of things. And so he puts it in this little, advertisement everybody gets in their pocket. You buy a sandwich, you get a little Egypto Capta coin as part of your change, maybe some Divi Filios too. You're starting to get the message in your pocket. So when you're looking at a coin, any coin, your quarter, your dime, which has FDR on it, your nickel, all of these sort of things, look at it and say, what is the message it's trying to convey? It'll tell you what country it's from, how much it's worth. And then it'll start to tell you what are the things that this country embodies. What are our ideals? What do we hold forth as a nation to be important? And so some of these things are the idea of liberty. Some of these things are the idea of rulership. Some of these things are the idea of monarchy. And some of these things are the idea of a political ruler trying to transition from one to another. And so today I'm not going to go on and on like I usually do. I'm going to wrap it up pretty quickly. But I'm going to end with a coin I've had to go through so many copyright things before to be able to use a picture of this coin. So I drug Julian halfway across Rome. It was a 45-minute walk. So we can go to the Basil Diocletian so I can take a picture of this coin right here. This coin. And it's a plain gold coin of Augustus. But we've been learning so much. I told you there should be legends, there should be inscriptions, there should be words, there should be all kinds of things. But we've gotten to the point now where he doesn't need this. He can just put out this gold coin with just his image. He doesn't need to tell you who he is. You know who he is. This is his coin. On the other side, there's Roman imagery about the new empire and so forth. But this is the front side of the coin. He's gotten to this point where he's so powerful, and he represents Rome, Roman, power. The color and size of the coin lets you know how much it is and how much it's worth and what its denomination is. But that's where we've gotten to with Augustus and imagery. He's like, no, it's me. I'm on the coin. And so I love that. And so on the ad for this particular talk, I showed the Kennedy $50, which I also really like as well. Because it's not particularly celebrating him as one of our best leaders whatsoever. It's more of a commemorative type of coin, which shows that coins have so many different types of purposes. But when it comes down to it, they have one job: to tell you where the country, what they stand for, and pretty much how much this is worth. And it's I love this, and it's fascinating. And one last thing I want to point out is that sometimes when I travel to different countries, different coins are made out of different things. So like in the Middle Ages, it used to be a crime to snip the edges of your coin because they were made of gold. You could snip a little bit and, and save up that little bit of gold and everything. But now we don't do that. But we don't make our coins out of like 100% silver or 100% gold or any of that sort of stuff anymore. But some countries, their coins are made out of money, out of types of metal which are even magnetic. So in my hand, I was holding a euro coin, a United States dollar coin, a quarter, and then what stuck to my magnet was a Brazilian coin and a coin from Egypt, which is not worth very much over here, unfortunately, but it is very interesting. So yes, that's interesting things about coins, but look again, every single coin is an advertisement. Every single time you spend a coin, you are passing that advertisement along, whether or not you endorse it or not. So that is my talk on coins. It's the propaganda in your pocket, whether you like it or not. And thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you guys have a lovely evening. And please message me with any questions. That is it. Thank you very much. Good night.